Welcome in everybody to the next day of the Kiriko Cup. We are ready, we are waiting, and we're gonna sink our teeth into some new Overwatch matches. Right here with me, we have the wonderful KK, and I myself am Snowball Ninja. We will be your casters for the Burnt Toasties and Team Tree matches that will follow very, very shortly. Now, these two teams, I know we're very excited to see come together, but Kay is going to be the one to tell you just a little bit more about that. Kay, could you take it?
Hello everybody. It's been a while since I've casted, but I'm super excited to be here with my friend Snowball. So we're going to be looking at Team Tree versus Burnt Toasties. Obviously this is a community cup, so the teams are relatively balanced, but we see a lot of well-known names in the teams. Like obviously we know Blur. Blur's been in the community for many years. He has been in multiple teams. He has been a caster. He has been a coach. We know him and love him with all of his shenanigans constantly in the Discord. Yeah, we can also see Pilik. There's also a player called Fishy Mang Talos, who I know is a very good player from a previous team that Fluffy was in. We see in the opposite team, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic. Yeah, and then if we're looking at Burnt Toasties, we're looking at Deadshot. Rexu, a very, very good Hanzo. We know him for his plays. Dakuma, who's kind of been, not so well known in the scene. He's popped up from time to time, but we've really seen him been popping off in his with his Kiriko plays and his fantastic headshots. And then Phoenix, another name that we do know from multiple teams. She is a fantastic support player. Yeah, so it's going to be a very, very exciting matchup. I'm excited to see what these teams do, what they do compositionally, and just how they kind of bounce off each other with this whole new 5v5 setting.
100%. In fact, I actually know Rexu myself. I've met him when he was used to be playing Apex, and he made a name for himself then, and he's making a name for himself now. Granted, I think everybody here has something they're going to bring to the table, something unique to bring to the table. And like you said, Community Cup, these teams have been assembled, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they will come together and, quite frankly, adapt to what's coming. I know they've been through a lot of matches already, and I'm sure we can expect no less than some fantastic Overwatch matches. But stay tuned, there's plenty more to come. And as usual, it's going to be the control map setting. I'm interested to see what's going to be brought to the table, because I've seen a lot of different compositions, a lot of people switching things up mid-match, and from comfort picks to maybe more meta picks. So anything can happen here. Anything can happen indeed.
Yeah, so for our first map, we will be looking at Nepal. We see a lot of teams, in Overwatch 1, we saw a lot of teams favoring the Rhine, the Zarya, the fast pace with the Lucio, just getting the Rhine in and brawling it out. However, now, with the changes to Doomfist being a tank, and obviously Orisa being incredibly strong, just with her brawly capabilities, I'm excited to see what these teams actually do in the 5v5 setting with adapting to that. And obviously, if you're playing the Doomfist, because we know Blur has been thoroughly enjoying the Doomfist, so what are teams going to do against that Doomfist? Or if you're going against a team that's just rushing you down with the Kiriko Lucio, how are teams going to adapt to that? So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they approach the different points on the poll and who will take the first win.
100%. And yes, with the change from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2 being down to 5 and only one tank, it does mean there's going to be a variety of ways to approach this new situation. I know some people like the change, some people don't, but at the end of the day, the adaptability is the name of the game when it comes down to these two teams that are going to be clashing together. I'm certainly excited because me personally, look, I'm a healer main, has to be said. I think Kiriko is great and a lot of fun to play, especially with that gorgeous headshot multiplier, because then it makes me feel like I'm doing something a little bit more than saving the Genji that overextended. So, quite frankly, I love the name of the cup. I'm loving what I've seen so far, and I think these two teams are not going to disappoint us.
Yeah, so I think we are just waiting for teams, and then we will be going into first map.
Well, just before we do launch into that then, Kay, do we have any potential predictions from your side?
Well, it is a bit difficult because obviously Team Tree has looked quite different. So they do actually have 2 substitutes in today with Blur and Pilik. So we'll have to see what they can contribute to the team and if it changes the team dynamic, because we had a whole bunch of games last weekend, we had games yesterday, and it's been a fantastic time, a lot of fun for everybody. But when you are with a team for that long, obviously you start to understand how the team plays. So now that we've got those 2 subs in, it's going to be interesting to see if they are able to adapt to Blur's playstyle on tank. Because if we look at Burnt Toasties has a fantastic lineup. I know all of the players on that team, they all have their hero pools that they play, and I think that they could gel quite well together. So I think it is evidently going to come down to the tank v tank matchup and how their teams can play around that tank.
Indeed, no, it's never completely optimal to have substitutions dropping in, especially in a community cup where most people might not be used to playing with each other. But here's the thing. Our two subs are fantastic players of their own, in their own right, and I think anybody at this level, anybody that's put the time into Overwatch knows that the adaptability is something that has to come with your gameplay and your game sense. So getting ready to slot into a team. Hell, we've all been there with randoms that seem to have this one strat that they are convinced is the absolute epitome of meta. And you're like, well, guess we're rolling with that. So I'm sure it's going to be, it might be a challenge for a few, but at this level, like I said, I think we can confidently say these players know what they're doing and they're ready to slot into a team and play like a team.
Yes, okay. So so after all of our, little breakdown of the teams versus teams, we are going to be going into our first map, which is Nepal.
Fantastic. Looking forward to Nepal. This is actually one of my personal favorites. Just have to throw it out there. Do you have on that really quickly, do you have a favorite map maybe, KK?
I don't know. This is, okay.
That's curious.
Everything is fine.
And there it is.
Yeah, so the teams are just waiting for players. They do have to start the match, and there we go. We're going to be assembling heroes. Funnily enough, my favorite is Watchpoint Gibraltar. As an Ana main, I thoroughly enjoy that.
That is very fair.
High grounds, wins games. So if you get your Ana situated and you have a break, you sorted.
Love it. Well, you see, I personally am a Lucio main. Now I can just say it's almost exclusively because I can boop people, and so having that potential to just eat somebody into the void is always going to be a favorite of mine. But here we go. Burnt Toasties Team Tree, everybody loading in and ready to rock and roll. Rexu on our Genji. We have Fluffy picking up a Sombra. Deadshot is on Zarya. One thing I am noticing here, this is me for the first time seeing Reaper. I didn't see it in the previous match I casted. I'm seeing Fishy Mang on that. What do you make of the picks thus far?
I think that the Reaper can provide a lot of frontline damage if he moves in with Blur on the Monkey. I think that will be very, very difficult to break through. However, we've seen that Zarya is incredibly strong at the moment with her double bubbles and just the amount of HP that she has. So I think that could be an evident problem for them.
Jeepers, very early aggression from the Monkey. Blur taking down Fluffy, just launching themselves into the back lines, and down goes second player for Team Tree, Rexu, being claimed by Fishy Mang, and Blur just completely in the back lines, chasing them back into their own spawn. It feels just disrespectful at this point, but hey, that's going to be Burnt Toasties taking the capture first, damn near 30 seconds into the round.
That was a very, very quick fight. Unfortunately for Fluffy, he just got scouted out. He wanted to get that hack off because we know how strong Sombra can be with those hacks. But if your Sombra gets out of the fight, you kind of lose that initiation. I mean, the Zarya can tank, but you need to have that Sombra present so that you can output that extra damage.
100%, and I like what they're doing with this aggression. They've managed to take what they already did and push with it. That's a Kiriko headshot, which already I'm happy about, but Blur finally gets put down, and this is allowing Burnt Toasties to push themselves back up. Rexu back on the Hanzo. We love to see it. We spoke about it just a bit earlier, and now they're pushing back onto the point. However, I think there's going to be more than enough time for the tank from Burnt Toasties to make their way back. Zarya taking a very quick nap, and oh my goodness, look at that push onto the point. That's almost taken immediately. Blur being forced to dive onto the point, and the tactical visor already activated. That's 2 down for Talos. Make that 3 with Fishy Mang helping him out. A fantastic response to the push that was from Team Tree. Burnt Toasties kicking them off the point, saying, no, we're not ready for you just yet.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic in order to be able to stall that out. We see Fluffy trying to go for a pick here, but I don't think he's going to get it. The Ana does have the help from their team. Oh, Rexu getting a pick on the Ana. That could be big for the Blur, who needs a lot of healing on that Monkey.
And especially when he's this aggressive. But we got the Primal Rage going out. That's one very angry Monkey. Talos making sure to cover him, taking out Rexu, so there's not quite as much damage being outputted. Fishy Mang getting taken out in return. The monkey seems a little bit overextended, but a nice leap sends him back to relative safety. Kiriko here to chuck a few healing tickets. Out goes the ultimate, and my brain just broke there, that's fine. Anna, please keep your monkey alive. He's okay for now. This is still a contested point. We're at 98, 99%. And out goes the grab. Oh my goodness, what an ultimate. 3 drop on the side of Burnt Toasties. Talos taking 1, but he immediately gets traded out by Deadshot, and a 99% switch over. The control point is now in the hands of Team Tree with a gorgeous team kill overall.
That was beautifully played. I thought that in order for them to win that fight, they were going to have to throw a lot more ultimates into it. But just needing to use the Kiriko ult just to initiate and then using the grab dragons, even though the dragons didn't get anything, Rexu put in plenty of damage to actually kill 2 people before the dragons had even passed through. So that was very, very well played by them. At this fight, we're looking on the Nano Reaper. I think they're going to Nano... oh, but that's a massive EMP.
Massive EMP indeed, and that's now both of the ultimates burnt, and the Nano is out, but no, Fishyman can't even get off the Death Blossom. They do have it in reserve, sure, and they've got plenty of percentage to play with, but that's 3 down on Team Tree, 2 taken by Talos, which is a fantastic pick there, but Deadshot makes sure that the Ana is also put out of commission. Talos soon to follow. That's going to have to be a full reset, and looking at this ult economy, that's only a Death Blossom left. I do say only, but a Death Blossom is scary, placed in the right position. Has he planted that flower in the right place? Blur takes out one, Fishyman takes out the other. That's the tank and one of the DPS down. Yet another down here. That's a great push from Burnt Toasties. The 99% is there, and objective secured. Round 1 going to Burnt Toasties.
Yeah, that was very well played by them. I thought that aggression was going to be a bit too much, having Blow basically jump in directly after respawning. However, they did have the Death Blossom to follow it up, and unfortunately, even with the Zarya bubbles, you can't tank a full Death Blossom from Reaper. So that was exceptionally well played by them. I would have liked to see a bit more aggression from Rexu, from Fluffy, but obviously it is a bit difficult when you do have, you know, someone like a Winston who can deal so well with the Sombra. So, I mean, maybe a switch off of that a bit earlier would have been better. But overall, I think both teams played really well. I'd like to see what they're doing in the combination of ults more now, because we know that ults win fights, especially in a 5v5 setting where if you lose one player, especially your tank, that's basically the fight's down.
Definitely have to agree with you here. And as we now move into quite a bit more close quarters of a control point, Blur again still very aggressive, and I'm honestly loving this. If you've got the team that you know is supporting you to keep you alive, let's be aggressive as a tank, and I love it. I see here one thing I wanted to comment on was the Sojourn pick from Fluffy, which I do agree with personally. I'm very happy to see that. But again, early aggression is getting punished now. Blur is taken down, so yes, they're on the point, but they now got to hold that. 1 man down, and that man down is their tank. Make that 2, make that 3. It was an early claim from Burnt Toasties, but Team Tree, especially Rexu here, to pop a few heads like grapes. And now, as soon as it was theirs, it's been taken away.
Yeah, that was exceptionally well played. I really like the switch into the Sojourn. We know how much damage she can output. So having her to just kind of be able to adjust with the maneuverability to be able to fight below on the tank, who's diving in exceptionally aggressively, will be really nice to have. Combined with, you know, we see the railgun which just got a pick.
Oh my goodness! And speaking of guns, Blur again. This incredibly aggressive tank play is something so refreshing to see, as Talos makes sure that the DPS and the tank on the side of Team Tree have nothing more to say in this particular fight. Talos again racking up another one. Excuse me, Soldier out here fragging like crazy. Kiriko picking up one for themselves, and Fluffy managing to take down Talos finally. But goodness gracious, that's going to flip the capture right back over into the hands of Burnt Toasties. Now, we see here, however, Burnt Toasties sitting on a tactical visor and a very, very angry monkey. But Team Tree, that's now 3 ultimates. We've got dragons, we've got an Ana ult, and I know how much you can deal with that. What do you think the combination is going to be here? What's the optimal combination?
Well, I mean, at this point, because they've already got 3 down, I actually don't think that visor was even needed. I think they could have just pushed their advantage. No. They had 2 picks. So I'm not so sure about that visor usage. And they used Primal there. But obviously, feel confident enough in their lead that they have at the moment to be able to, use those ultimates, and then maybe Nano the Reaper so that he can get his Death Blossom up. I would like to see. Wow, okay, both support ults at the same time, sure, why not?
Holy cow, I mean, look, if you're not even gonna let them get into the point, they're not gonna be able to capture it. That's a 10 kill streak for our tank. We love to see it. They're just being kept in their own dropship, and Blur just managing to check that gravity was still working. We love that. Team Tree, you are gonna have to come up with something fantastic, even if it's ulting on your own damn doorstep. That's almost all 5 ultimates ready to rock and roll, and I think that's gonna have to be. Here we go. Here's the Sojourn ult. How are we gonna railgun? I'm feeling like Quake days coming back in. I need to see some railgun headshots. Out goes the Ana ult as well. Oh my goodness, that Graviton Surge is almost ready. Fishy Man taking that railgun directly to the face. This is very aggressive from the monkey. I'm not sure if you're overextending here, buddy. And there comes the Kitsune Rush and the Gravity Bomb. This is exactly what they needed. Can you capitalize on it? You can. Fluffy taking out 2 from Team Trees, making that 3 with Rex2 claiming the monkey. This is what they needed to get this control point back. You guys need to capitalize on this. You gotta capitalize on it now. I don't know why they're chasing the team. But there we go. There's the pick. I was gonna say maybe just play it slow, but then again, they're a lot better than me, KK.
Yeah, no, that was actually really well played to get that, because that is a massive stagger, obviously, in a point that is already 78. So, well, that was huge.
Well, that's a lot of damage. That's 3 down on the side of Team Tree. They barely had time to even lick their wounds. Consider the next course of action, and again now another 2 down from Team Tree. The control point just flipping backwards and forwards. It's absolutely insane. It's down to the wire, and I'm happy for that, because that's showing that these teams are adapting to each other, and we've still got an angry monkey to work with. And I think right now this is going to be critical. Every little nuanced play is going to be what could be the difference here.
Yeah, that Primal came out early, and but minor, and they don't even touch.
They don't even touch.
They don't even touch.
Wow.
That was exceptionally well played by Team Tree. I was unfortunate, but unfortunately sometimes you just have to use the ult as you can. But in a case where you use 5 ults, the other team will come in, they will use 1 or 2, and you will have no ults to contest them and lose the fight, and unfortunately that is where this ended up.
Quite frankly, a phenomenal effort from both teams indeed, but my goodness gracious, the aggression from Blur, I'm loving seeing that, and if that's setting the tone, KK, I am more than ready to settle in for some excellent Overwatch matches. I'm wondering if now both teams have kind of found their stride. Yes, the Team Trees has taken this one now, but have they found their stride? Is this something they're going to stick with? Is this something that they're going to need to adapt? I'm not sure. How is Toasties going to respond? And one thing I did want to bring up, in fact, the play of keeping the enemy team on their doorstep to the point of burning your ults in 2 different team fights to keep them out of there. What do you think of that strategy? Is that quite a, is that risk versus reward, or is it just, hey, you know what? We're feeling ourselves. We're feeling a bit confident.
Yeah, I feel like that is a confidence thing. I mean, you have to back yourself. This game is about confidence. If you don't have confidence and you don't back your own abilities, you can obviously do things that you maybe wouldn't do in a different setting. So I think, they saw the opportunity, they capitalized on it, they thought, this team doesn't have much that they can throw at us at the moment because they've used these ults last fight, so let's go for it. And I mean, Blur he touched the spawn doors and then he reset. So, but it worked out for them in the long run, and they were able to just hold them there for an exceptionally long time, where, I would have liked to see a bit of a different rotation, maybe going to the right and around so that they could get off some sort of flank. Because they were consistently trying to go through just the main corridor, and if a team's holding there, then it's difficult, especially if they're using ults on you. So yeah, maybe some slight adjustments to just pathing, because obviously that's a map that we've played and loved for a long time. So maybe some changes in that, but in the heat of the moment, sometimes you're just like, okay, we need a touch point, and you just try to just go, the most direct route.
Indeed, but being bottlenecked is never going to be fun, and actually in the military they call that the fatal funnel. But yes, if in the heat of the moment, sometimes it is just you've got that tunnel vision, and you're trying to just make sure that you at least touch the point. I mean, look, regardless of what class I'm playing, I think, regardless you're playing, I think we all have those stories of you just throwing your body onto the point, regardless of whether you stay alive for 1 to 2 seconds. So, an incredible first map, and I hope it's setting the tone, because I want to see that back and forth. Look, I'm sure there's many of us out there that do love a bit of a stompage, just getting ruffle stomped into the concrete, but hey, I want to see back and forth. I want to see tug and pull, and New Queen Street should be the stage for this new performance.
Oh, we hope so. I mean, New Queen Street is obviously one of the new push maps. They have been... I've heard a lot of conflicting things about push. I've heard people saying that they enjoy it, and I've heard people say that they want 2 CP back. So I mean, you know, it's very conflicting information, but obviously it's a beautiful map. It is really, really nice in how it can be an exceptionally fast-paced game mode. For people who like fast-paced things, obviously, then this is going to be the map type for you. I want to see, you know, I want to see the aggression. I want to see maybe a Lucio play, maybe, you know, stick with the monkey and then go all in, just be aggressive, because obviously you do, after pushing the robot a certain amount of time, you do get that forward spawn, and then you can continue to just attack at your enemies. So yeah, I want to see the aggression. I think the passive play here is not going to be the thing that wins, especially with Blur on tank. So I want to be able to see that the team is able to punish his aggression.
Definitely agree, and that's the adaptability that we're talking about. If this is going to be Blur's playstyle, then they're going to have to adapt, because clearly it's working at the moment.
Yes.
Looking at our initial picks, I don't think they're going to be changing last minute like some of the people were doing in the last match we casted. They were waiting till the last second just to throw us off.
Nice.
But now that we see the Widowmaker pick from Talos, what are we thinking about that? Because for me personally, I'd like to be boots on the ground, and granted, I don't know this map quite as well, but what do we think of that pick in terms of being able to support his team as well as dishing out the damage that's needed?
Well, from my personal experience in competitive and just in quick play, I think snipers can be a make or break of this particular game mode, because if you're getting 1 or 2 picks from far away, you can't get punished, and your team can just push the aggression and then push that bot even further. So I think, I mean, we see there's already picks going both ways with some forms of snipers, so you can see it's already coming into play here.
It's interesting to see that then the range game coming into play, where we previously had a lot of close quarters fighting going on. Good to see Rexu getting picked back up by Phoenix, and a lot of contesting right on the bot. That's a very aggressive Anna. Are you going to be able to keep your Zarya alive? No, but you're dead. And Blur following shortly afterwards. Rexu on the Pharah. It was interesting, actually, Kay. Last matches, we were expecting to see a lot of Pharah, and then we didn't. So seeing this being brought in now as Rexu picks up yet another kill. Chasing down the poor Widowmaker that had absolutely nowhere to go. That puts Burnt Toasties as the first capture for this match. And push goes the robot.
Yes, and we already see Rexu has built up ult. We can see how Deadshot is being incredibly aggressive, and unfortunately he is going to be demaxed. He did not have his team there. So that was a little bit of an over-aggression, but at least Rexu is able to follow that up with his ult.
Do you think that's maybe a little bit too early a use of an ult? I know you can build it up fast as a good Pharah, but maybe a bit of an overcommittal?
I think so. I mean, your payload is a little bit far behind, but then again, I mean, we can see how much space they've created. I don't think they'll be able to res the Diva, which is obviously a lot of their frontline presence, and Talos gets a really nice headshot on Fluffy, so that could turn the tides.
Then very much could turn the tide, especially if Rexu can't get away here. Nope, Talos takes him out as well, so that's a whole bunch from Burnt Toasties down. Only the Diva left alive. That was very, very well played. And now the tide turns. How are they going to capitalize on this, I wonder? We've got a Widowmaker ult, so we'll be able to see where they're coming from. I think at this point, regroup and just get ready for a push. Team Tree, your ults are almost already, my goodness, wave goodbye to your head, baby Diva. Along with Fluffy, heads popping like grapes. We love to see it. Out goes the ult, and please, I used to play a lot of Rainbow Six Siege. I'm waiting for those angles.
You're waiting for it.
I'm just so stoked to see those pixel peaks and just seeing heads get taken out. Out goes the grab, my goodness. And that's just very aggressive. Blur, you're living up to the aggression that we know you for, and I'm just very happy to see it at this point.
That was actually a very good ult from him, but then we see 2 kills go the other way. So unfortunately, I don't think they'll be able to push an exceeding amount further, because we do see, even though there's Kiriko ult, there was a squash. It was a diva squash.
Oh, it's always good to see. And again, Rexu using that ult, managing to take one, but getting refragged in return, which isn't great. But at the same time, as I say it, Burnt Toasties are now in control of the robot. So let's see how they can capitalize on it. We've got an Ana ult, ready to rock and roll. Nobody else. Can I English? Let's just download that real quick. There's nobody else's ult to quite capitalize on an Ana ult, but hey, even being boosted can save your boosting a DPS could save your team if timed right. And oh my goodness, Rexu, that's mean. That's mean, Rexu. My goodness, Blur taking out one of their own. Talos taking the head off of Rexu. I love to see a Fishy Mang outgo the Helix Rockets, and they put Fluffy in their place. So back goes the robot, certainly getting their steps in today.
Yeah, that was actually exceptionally well played. I thought there was no way Burnt Toasties were going to lose that fight, but you know, when you have that Widowmaker with that pick potential, I mean, Widowmaker can take out 4 of Burnt Toasties players just with a headshot. So it is incredible potential just to turn that fight, and obviously now we see the robot going the other way, and we see that Widow. That Widow is looking for the Pharah because the Pharah is providing a lot of damage for the team.
My goodness, 2 down on either side. This is going to be a real scrappy fight. I was about to say, we've got both healers' ults up. So here comes Mercy with her ult, and the Diva is remixed. But where's that Kitsune Rush? I thought maybe it was going to be committed there. I'm not sure why they were holding out on it. But again, they've got the point back. I'm ready to see what they can do with it. Yes, well done for holding on to it. Maybe that's the play. Maybe that's the ace in the sleeve in your back pocket that Burnt Toasties is going to need. It's been a lot of back and forth. There's still 5 minutes left on the clock. Out goes the Widowmaker ult, and Blur is more than ready to use that Graviton. I'm so ready for it. And there it is, as I said. Elos, oh my goodness, wave goodbye to your head. There go 3 from Burnt Toasties. They are just back and forth, and I'm loving it. This poor Mercy, run, please. Helix rocket point blank to the face.
Chester whip out the Glock.
Absolutely decimating them, and Fishy Mang himself holding on to that tactical visor. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, unfortunately that fight, I thought Burnt Toasties were holding on really well to the Kiriko ult to provide them with, you know, some sort of extra damage and attack speed. However, Blur with the Graviton Surge was just absolutely massive. It caught 2 headshots out the way, and that's a 1 fight for that team. So we'll see what they do with this engage. Yeah, we need to look at that attack visor, see if it can get value. And they've already lost Fluffy, and they've also lost Rexu.
Goodness gracious, the 2 tanks butting heads right on top of this objective right now. Out comes the Diva ult. Is going to catch anybody? Nope, everybody's behind cover. But oh my gosh, I thought everyone was behind cover. That just happens. Deadshot's going to be very, very happy about that one. We love to see it. My goodness. Okay, so Team Tree. Interesting. Look, we've got the Fluffy ult ready to rock and roll on the side of Burnt Toasties, but the Kitsune Rush and the Tac Visor still in the back pocket here. Talos takes the head off of Takuma, and that's 1 healer down. Okay, never mind. Up you get again. Nap time's over. Sorry for that. You're not a toddler. You don't get your nap time anymore. Rexu attempting to try and get as many of those picks in as possible. Out goes the Widow ult again, so everybody knowing where the enemy team is. Still holding on to 2 ults as Team Tree. What are you going to do with them?
I mean, Rexu already got a pick on the Widow that was causing him so much problems. So I guess we'll see. But Burnt Toasties are just pushing. They have no fear. They have no fear.
Absolutely no fear. I'm loving seeing that as well. The aggression it seems to be paying out. Again, I've always, maybe I'm just scared of chasing people down once we have an aggression, but there we go. Blur eventually gets taken down. Deadshot very pushed up at the moment, and oh, Baby Diva, you have 2 health. My goodness, that was close. Fishy Mang eventually putting Baby Diva to bed, and that means we've got 1 more ult from Rexu. I think you're gonna have to capitalize on this very, very well. The Kitsune Rush is ready. There it comes, as I say it. And oh my goodness.
Oh no.
So there's a thing we call danger close, KK, and that was a little too close, Rexu. Oh my goodness, that's going to be embarrassing. There's still a massive scrap on the point. Blur takes down Takuma. Talos, a great throw from the McCree, and Fluffy goes down too. My goodness, so does Deadshot. That's an amazing push from Team Tree. Turn around, robot. You're walking back the other way.
Oh my goodness, that was so well played. Unfortunately, Rexu just That was, yeah, no, I genuinely think that ult could have done a lot for that fight. But, you know, we all have those moments. We jump off maps. We, you know, kill each other. Kill ourselves. You know, it
I'm a
happens.
Lucio main cage. You know how many times I've skated off the map? Yikes.
Oh, it happens, but we'll see what he can do on the Sombra now. I mean, incredible pick potential, but, I mean, going against that Cassidy, it's gonna be rough.
It is going to be rough indeed, especially when we see so many players already down on the side of Burnt Toasties. The push here, there's still that's a hack even that Sombra is going face to face with with the tank and getting away. You sneaky Sombra, you. Dakuma is down, so we have one less healer at the moment, and I think Burnt Toast is going to take the time to just reevaluate what they're doing. That's 4 ults ready and waiting on the side of Team Tree. That's a very strong position to be in.
That's amazing.
And up they go. Out goes the ults. The tack visor. Can you make it work? You can. That's 2 down already. Fantastically aggressive push from Blur. Talos and Vishiman claiming their own picks as well. Baby Diva's out. Baby Diva's down. That's a 10-player kill streak along with a team kill for Team Tree. Very much needed. Everybody capitalize on this right now. That'll be the forward points taken. And my goodness, with just over 30 seconds left on the clock and 2 ults, what do you think is the ideal play here?
I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think, I mean, with that pick on the BAP, that's a lot of less healing for your Diva. Your Diva needs that sustain. So, I mean, but there's another pick going the other way with the DPS. So we'll just have to see if they are able to regroup with their forward spawns and then take that fight because they have 15 seconds remaining.
15 seconds again, as you say, regroup, recharge. Blur again being that frontline tank, pushing them back. Here's the robot. Let's get ready for this push. It's 5 seconds left, and it's gonna be wild. I see the use of the nuke might be feasible, but at this point, yep, there we go. I was about to say, you're gonna have to time it very, very perfectly. Out goes nuke. 1 does go down, but the Kiriko is dead. The Soldier's dead. The bounty's dead. This is ridiculous. What are they gonna do? You've still got the tank alive. What are you going to do with it? You're now a baby diva. You're not going to be long for this world and that. And oh my goodness, it's a 5-player kill streak for the McCree. Deadshot claiming Talos as well. Overtime ticks down. And that is all she wrote. Well done, Burnt Toasties, for pulling it back at the end.
Yeah, that was an incredible fight. I mean, it did come down to the wire. We see with Burnt Toasties that oh my gosh, I can't English. I was like, my brain's still processing that information. With the Sombra ult. It was the Sombra ult. I think the Sombra ult really won them that fight. That change that Rexu made was able to get a lot of value towards the end of that. So, I mean, yeah, they use their ults. They use their ults defensively, which is something that you don't really see in Overwatch. Everybody's like, okay, you need to use your ult, you know, offensively. You need to be on the attack. However, when they're being pushed into and they have, you know, enough of a lead in a push map, they just had to save up their ults. I think they had 2 or 3 ults at the end of that. They used those ults, they were able to get the picks, and that's what won them the game. Even though the blow bomb did get 1, it wasn't enough when they threw ults the other way with the Nano and with the Sombra EMP, which obviously we all know takes your health down quite a bit, and then you're able to capitalize off of that.
100%, and that's the interesting thing about ults as well, is being able to use them, yes, but the fear of knowing that the enemy team has them is also a thing. There's that psychological kind of battle that you have to play. It's like, okay, well, if we commit first, are they going to be able to react fast enough with their ults? How is this going to play out? And the mind games that come into play, I mean, we all know how crazy and hectic Overwatch can get, and I think that's a prime example of the craziness. I'm very... I was very surprised at how close that was. It was holding on to the robot for a couple minutes each time, and then immediately walking back the other way. A few potentially questionable ults, but you know, we pushed forward from that. And again, another thing that was for me standing out in that match, particularly the long range plays from the Sojourn, from the Widowmaker. That was a joy to watch.
It was really nice, and I also wanted to just mention, we didn't really speak about it because there was just a lot of action going on the whole time, but Blur switch off of the Zarya onto the Diva, and then having their supports change from an Ana to a BAP. And I think that was really, really good, and obviously they also changed onto the Cassidy. I think for them, who were basically relying on, you know, the Pharah and the Zarya and that sort of thing to get I really, really liked that adaptation when they realized, okay, we're not actually winning this sort of fight. We're going to switch it up and we're going to play this sort of, you know, more aggressive style. Because with Zarya, you do need to still build that charge. And you need to wait for her to get picks. So when they changed off of that, I think that did wonders for them. They were able to sustain, they were able to get out a lot of damage, and they looked very dominant towards the end of that game.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you, because we keep alluding to it, we keep touching on it, and maybe I sound like a broken record, but hey, the adaptability is what comes into play, because I'm sure they've got every team, every player has strats, has movements, has heroes that they are comfortable with. But at the end of the day, if you can make that switch on a dime and play with your team for your team's needs, that's going to set you apart. And here we saw it. We saw it, and that is now. That's what tied it up, and I'm stoked because that just means more Overwatch.
More Overwatch. So now obviously we can see it's a 1-1 game. Yeah, it's looking very, very close. I love seeing close games. I mean, obviously, you know, sometimes we do see it where one team just completely obliterates the other, but in this match we can see the teams actually know how to adjust, and they change up their compositions and they take fights in a way that is beneficial to them. And you know, so it's going to, I think it's going to continue to be a very, very close game. We are going into Hollywood now, you know, a map that many of us know, many of us have played many times. You know, when you get stuck out because there's a Bastion and Orb that just sits on point and you can't push because, you know, there's just no coordination or anything like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see what these teams do here. I think D.Va is a very strong tank at the moment. She is definitely one of the strongest tanks in the game. So we'll see if they pick D.Va to utilize those high grounds. Because high ground, I mean, you know, high ground is incredibly important in Overwatch. So we'll see if they pick something like a D.Va, or if they go something completely left field and play something like a Doomfist, who can also, you know, just create that space and then give their team time to get the picks. And then, you know, win the fight that way instead of just going face first, kind of rushing it down.
Definitely agree, because we've got to factor in the verticality that comes with Hollywood. I mean, you've got in both sections, you've got rooftops that you can jump onto. You've got you know, those extra angles that not only you can utilize, but now you need to watch as per your enemy using the same thing. So for me, I feel like D.Va is a strong choice. Especially when it comes to those tight corridors, the defense matrix is something that I know I would be wanting to utilize as well. Maybe it's just because I'm squishy and I like hiding behind my D.Va. I
mean, it's fair.
But yeah, so I agree with the kind of initial kind of tank prediction. For me, I'm curious though, for this type of map and with what we are predicting in terms of healer, in terms of tank picks. What do you think is going to be a beneficial healer pick for these teams?
Well, I mean, you can never go wrong with Ana, because Ana's in Overwatch 1, one of Ana's, you know, downfalls was that she could not shoot through shields, and there was a lot of shields in Overwatch 1, whereas in Overwatch 2 you have so much more space because there aren't those hard shields that just counter your healing. Obviously the D.Va matrix is quite difficult, but I mean, Nano D.Va is incredibly scary. So I'm hoping to see something like an Ana, because I think Ana and Kiriko synergize quite well. But I mean, with how Rexu's been playing, we could see him on the Sombra, or, you know, the more likely thing is, you know, Phoenix coming out on the Mercy. I mean, Mercy Kiriko is also a very, very strong combination of supports, because, you know, even though they are more single, you know, target healing, they are able to provide a lot of utility for the team, and, you know, get that extra damage in that will then allow you to get those picks to win the team.
Definitely agree with you there, because look, having your tank go down mid-team fight and then just pop them back into the fight thanks to a Mercy is phenomenal. That is something that can absolutely change the tide. But hey, the tides do shift. They come in, they come out, and let's see what Hollywood has for us when we put the next two teams together. 1-1 is the score, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen next.
So obviously we are just on the assemble your heroes screen right now. So we are waiting to see what they're going to be picking. We do, unfortunately, so Torb and Bastion are currently disabled. They had bugs, so we're not going to be seeing any Bastion or Torb picks.
Oh no.
So So luckily the teams don't have to go, you know, suffer what I suffer through in competitive. But you know, so we already see here. So Deadshot is on the Diva, like I predicted. I do like the pick from below as the opposite tank on the Winston. We saw how much damage and value that he was actually getting from being able to dive in aggressively. With the Reaper, I like the follow-up. And obviously, you know, when you have a monkey, you have an Ana, because that nano monkey is scary with that. Like, he doesn't tickle, he just beams you at that point.
Absolutely.
So I'm really, really liking that.
Very much so. What I can see here is the Widowmaker pick on both sides, which I like because of the longer sight lines that you have with some of the streets when it comes to Hollywood. But yeah, big, well, look at that. Swapped out for Cassidy. So, again, maybe just the flavor of the game has changed, and it's going to be a bit of a longer range fight.
It seems so. I actually worry about that though, however, because if you are taking a longer range fight, your monkey is going to just be jumping in by himself. And I mean, we see here Blur is almost going down already. They're chasing very far for him. But Deadshot is not going to be punished, so that's fine. Oh, but Rexu popped off. Okay.
Wave goodbye to two heads on the side of Burnt Toasties in that that engagement. Great to see. Rexu, honestly, just absolute the balls on this man standing on top of the capture point, and down goes the Cassidy as well. Blur, I'm not sure you want to be playing games here, brother. Maybe just back it up. That's pretty wild. And again, taking that high ground, we mentioned it. Standing up and getting ready to work on it, that verticality. I love that Blur's still going to be nice and aggressive here. And oh, Baby Diva, what do you just run away from the monkey? Monkey scary, monkey bad.
Yeah, I mean, we see here Rexu already has ult, but there are people in their backline. All the teams basically switched positions. I mean, you know, why not?
Absolute chaos, as if we wanted anything less. And like Rexu popping off with the Widowmaker. The snipes are coming in clutch here. I'm absolutely loving it. Out goes the ult, and now he knows where everybody is. So your heads are even less safe than they were beforehand. The Genji out on Talos now, which is curious. I think for maybe a bit more of that dive potential and get into the backlines to deal with people. That's a very scary monkey, Rexu. Time to leave. Speaking of monkey, they now have primal range ready to go. And that is putting into good effect as Rexu get pile drived into the pavement along with Fluffy. That tack visor really not putting out the value that they were hoping for. Fishy Mang takes out Phoenix, and Blur making sure Akuma is kicked out of the fight as well, which puts Team Tree on the objective first. Incoming Deadshot. Diva trying their best to do what they can to delay this, but nope. Down she goes, meeting the fate of the rest of her team. The first capture going the way of Team Tree.
Oh, I mean, shame, that was unfortunate. I mean, Rexu was pushed up there. I actually, I know you were saying you weren't so sure about the Genji pick, but I think Genji is a very good pick to follow up on the monkey dives. And also just against someone like a soldier or a widow where you can get that deflect and then you get the kill. And we see Blur has already taken down Phoenix, which is going to heavily impact their team because they need that mercy for the heals.
Very much agree. And now we've got 3 ultimates on the side of Team Tree. That's a very strong position to be in as Talos takes them down. Here comes the Dragon Blade. That's immediately being put to effect. Blur taking out Akuma, but Rexu managing to answer that by taking off Fishy Mang's head. Climbing up is Nomad. Who are you going to find up there? You're trying to find your Widowmaker? Yep, there we go. A beautiful block and sliced in half is Rexu. Fluffy making sure that Blur pays the price, however. Regrouping Team Tree. We're going to wait for their tank to come back, but they're still in such a strong position. They may have spent their ults, but at this point, Burnt Toasties, what is going to have to be their answer here, okay?
I don't know at this point. I think you need to try to either match the aggression of Blur and maybe switch up your support line. Because I just don't think the Mercy is doing enough to actually provide the sustain. I mean, we see Rexu already goes down in the back line, and they're just continuing to push forward.
Well, Deadshot makes his presence known. 2 down, that's the tank and one of the heals. Dakuma making sure that the Reaper doesn't get away either. That's very well played, but Fishy Mang, when you respawn, you are going to be holding on to your own ultimate. And that's going to be great as multiple Burnt Toasties team members get dropped. Talos does get taken out by a gorgeous headshot from Kiriko. I'll pretend that I'm not very, very satisfied by seeing that. Monkey, you almost got your ultimate back. Blur, how are you going to put this into effect? You've got the rest of your team to work with. Out goes the Kitsune Rush. Oh, Monkey, that was very close. Out goes the Primal Rage. The fists are swinging. What are you going to be able to do with this? I'm interested to see if Talos and Fishymang want to dive in on this. Not quite so much. The Primal Rage not finding much value. Maybe a lot of scare factor. Out goes the Tactical Visor. And here comes the Death Blossom. That's, oh, beautiful. 2 down, 3 down. Talos making his presence known as well. Out goes the Nuke and kaboom. A whole bunch of oxygen was just removed from the map.
I mean, we see here, obviously, they're just going to kind of finish off the team fights. They have already capped. So any sort of pushing now, I mean, I think they're going to get a lot of staggers here. Unfortunately, 3 of the players still coming out from ult spawn. So we'll see if they can get out and kind of regroup and then use that blade to good use. I mean, the previous fight when they nanoed the monkey, I was a little bit confused because at this moment in time, Genji is one of the strongest DPSs. So if you have a nano blade, you've basically won the fight. So I want them to be able to combine that rather.
Well, he's going to have to wait a little bit longer to unsheath that katana of his. Rexu sticks a sticky bomb to his back and says, cheers, love, cavalry's here. Done with that. And speaking of which, as Rexu does go down, we've noticed now the switch onto the Tracer. What do you make of that switch in this current situation?
Well, I think they are relying quite heavily on Pilik's healing on the Ana. And the Kiriko kind of wants to go in with the Genji, wants to go in aggressively. So if you can get a pick on that Ana, you remove a lot of that healing.
Well, speaking of picks, the one tank takes out the other. Deadshot. Baby Diva is put to bed. Talos and Pilik are waiting on this, hopefully a nano blade. There it comes, as we said it. Please, can we get some amazing use out of this? That's already 2 down. Chasing down the Diva. And Rexu getting sliced into oblivion. Please, can you capitalize on this? Oh my goodness, how are you still alive?
He's got the moves.
Woo! He's got the moves. He's got the grooves. Takuma, however, paying the price as Blur puts them in their place. Fluffy taking out Pilik. The Baby Diva obviously chasing them down. I absolutely love it. The Fishymang has an answer, though, to both healers down. And just as we're watching them chase down Burnt Toasties, Team Tree just scooched their way to the end of this match. That was incredible. Time for a side switch.
That was incredibly well played by them. I mean, like any sort of ult that you have that where you can get extra attack speed and, you know, just get that movement speed with the Kiriko, I say go for it. I love soldier ult with Kiriko ult. That to me is absolutely beautiful. But I mean, you don't even need an ult, as we saw there with the Reaper. The Reaper just ran forward in the Kiriko ult and got 3 picks because of just how fast the shotguns were going off. And those shotguns at close range, they are scary. So I really, really like the way the Team Tree played that. I'm wondering what Burnt Toasties are going to do in order to kind of counter the aggression of the Reaper. Because they seem to be struggling a little bit with, you know, they're switching it up. They're trying different things. So we'll see if they're able to actually punish the Reaper. Because, you know, Reaper, he has his fade out. I want to see a bit more of that communication to call, okay, cool, the Reaper's got no fade. Let's punish him. Because he is providing a lot of damage when he's just pushing in with blow.
Personally, I'm loving seeing what the Kitsune rushes bring to the table. Like you said, both for Reaper and for Soldier, that is, it's fantastic. And haha, gun go burr when it comes to those 2 heroes. So Rexy swapping back to the Widowmaker. We saw him absolutely popping off, as well as popping heads. Talos, however, is on the Ash, and yes, a hog from Deadshot. Look, I really do like Roadhog. I like the hooks. So they get over here. Maybe I mained Scorpion when I played Mortal Kombat. Maybe I didn't. Who's to say? The 2 tanks clashing in the side room here. What do you think this hog is going to be able to bring to the table that the previous tanks could not?
Well, I think with the hog, they're just looking for more of a pick potential. As Blur dives in, if you get the hook and you get that damage off, I think it can basically just shut down that monkey exceptionally well. But unfortunately, Fluffy already goes down on the other side. We saw him trying to take high ground, and Blur was just able to get on him and kill him.
Maybe a little bit more tentative here from this, from both teams. Not willing to dive in just too much. Well, Blur, as I said that,
as you said that,
face. for Rexu. But yes, I still think a notable less aggression, and Talos takes buckshot to the face from Deadshot there. I'm liking a bit more of a feeling out here. We'll see how this goes. Rexu making sure Fishy Mang is not ready for that fight. Fluffy, however, was taken out just before that. Deadshot is up there and fighting. Blur with the brilliant aggression as per usual, jumping back to get some of those sweet heals. Maybe what we're waiting for here is Rexu to do exactly that. As Deadshot and Dakuma take their own picks, Rexu gets taken out by Talos, who snuck up and blew them to pieces. But it does mean that they are now on the point. Burnt Toasties, very well played indeed.
Yeah, and we see Talos has actually switched off onto Tracer now, just not feeling that they're getting enough value and actually trying to spawn camp the Widow and succeeding. So I mean, you know, why not? If you have a problem with their player, go for that player.
Oh my goodness, that was close. I saw the Primal Rays come out and almost completely rinsed by going whole hog. Just saved until they eventually got taken out by Fluffy, and then another second one from Fluffy, and the Death Blossom is also claiming Fluffy in return. Fishy Mang and Talos making sure that the tank and the healer are taken out. Talos by booping Kiriko on the snoot. Speaking of being booped, Rexu takes the head off of Ana, and here's a little sticky bomb to say thank you for playing, but I'm going back to England now. Rexu getting exploded by Talos's sticky bomb.
Oh, we see the Reaper behind. He has been pinged out, so I'm sure he'll just fade out. If not, they punish him and... Oh, does he get out? Does he get out? And he doesn't. Unfortunately.
Delaying the inevitable. Yes, I'm sure you're happy, Blur. You do your little monkey squats. We're ready for you. We're ready for you. We've got a Kiriko ult on the side of Team Tree and almost an Ana ult, but the DPS is going to have to put in some work for those to be put into true effect. Burnt Toasties, we do have almost 3 ults ready. Rexu gets taken up by Talos being very aggressive. We love to see it. Fluffy with the Helix rockets to Talos' face. It's a very sleepy monkey, but he's back in the fight. Dakuma takes out his carbon copy on the other Kiriko. Fishy Mang making sure that that is fragged in return. Fluffy, Phoenix, and Dakuma sitting on ults and plenty to work with. Attack Visor, Kiriko, let's maybe see it happen.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate. I mean, we see, like, we've spoken about it, and I mean, you know, if you've been on a team or if you've just been in comp, you know that ult wins fights, and even though Blow goes down, he created a lot of space because he got nanoed. So, I mean, the attack visor's coming out now, and they have got a pick, but I want to see if they're able to get more and use their ults more proactively.
Well, the attack visor hasn't quite capitalized on much, but hey, the psychological fear of, oh my goodness, I'm not standing anywhere near you, is there. To be fair, Kiriko did manage to take 1 kill there, and I'm happy with that. But Burnt Toasty sitting on both of their supports, both of their healers have their ults. I'm ready to see it come in. Out goes the sticky bomb, and Phoenix gets removed from this fight. So if they're gonna use an ult, it's gonna have to be Kiriko. Rexu is also dead though, which is not great, and Dakuma goes down as well. What is this reply from Team Tree? I'm loving it. Deadshot is also down and halting Team Tree in their tracks, and obviously the Tracer is just chasing you down. Run, boy, run.
That was just unfortunate. I mean, you need those ults to come out early in the fight, but just the way the Blur is positioning, he has no fear. Like, he's got Primal right now, so he's going to push up into the enemy team and try and get picks where he can, and that is what we're seeing he's doing. I mean, look at this. He's basically in the back line.
As if we expect any less from Blow, and out comes the Primal Rage, but my goodness, you're getting sent to the back rooms with that hog ult. Yes, run away, jump, spree, flee, get back to the zoo. And again, still holding on to these ults. Still holding on to these ults is Burnt Toasties. I respect being ready to be patient and wait for the ideal time, but I think there is a time to wait for just a little bit too long. And as Rexu goes down, that's 1 less DPS that can be, you know, used by this, or can be affected by this ult. Out comes the attack visor yet again, and here is the nano finally. What are you gonna make do here? There's very few people around here. Okay, there we go. We chase them down, Fluffy. We love it. You find them in the storage room and you say no thank you, and there's your third. You know what? Maybe I should stop making predictions, Snowball.
That was a really, really good 3K. I mean, we do see the recontest, so I think this fight is going to carry on. Shame, unfortunately, Fluffy got blown up by Blur. We can see if Blur can stall this out for his team to get back, but we do see that it is just kind of him just chilling, and he has no HP, and they're going to cap. Yeah, so I think Burnt Toasties do need to be more proactive with their ults. I really like that, the Nano Visor, but I felt like they kept that for a very, very long time when they would have had a much, much bigger time bank. And Rexu, you start speaking for 2 seconds and this man gets like 3 kills. Like,
Absolutely
what?
popping off. I love it. Well, you spoke about using ults to greater effect, and Dakuma's been sitting on that that Kitsune rush for quite a while now. Maybe they were waiting to hit this this checkpoint. Maybe that's what it was. Now that they've regrouped, but what they've given Team Tree is time to charge up 3 more ults. We can get a Nano Blossom going out if we needed it, and now we know where everyone is thanks to Talos.
Oh, so I see here. And Rexu.
Oh my word!
Just, what is this? What is this aim? And we see he does get punished on the opposite end, but I mean, oh, okay, that's a huge Death Blossom.
Massive Death Blossom, stopping the team in their tracks. And Fisherman just pushing after Anna to make sure that it's all just tied up. Burnt Toasties, yikes. Sit back, relax, and maybe cook some new toast because you're going to need a new plan here.
I mean, but we still see Dakuma's had this ult for about 3 or 4 fights now, I think. And in the time that he could have ulted, he could have built another one. And, you know, the Reaper didn't have ult when he had it originally. We see there's a kill going the other way. But I just want to see that ult come out. It is so, so important to give your team that extra attack speed and just the movement speed, especially in this tiny choke.
Absolutely. This final alleyway, this bottleneck, as we've spoken about before, is a perfect place for Kitsune Rush. And oh my goodness, there goes the damage onto Deadshot, and that's your tank dead. That's Fluffy dead as well from the Primal Rage. There's a massive pushback from Team Tree. Burnt Toasties, you're going to have to capitalize. You don't have the time to play with here. That's 30 seconds left, and you've got a Kitsune Rush. You might not be able to charge up your ults in time. I think they're running out of options here, Kay. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even if you have to semi-do it in spawn, Kitsune Rush now, you've got the perfect opportunity. You can then build up your other 2 ults that you then need, and then you can take the fight, even if you need to put that in. But we see Miner using theirs first.
Yeah, Team Tree heard you, and they're certainly trying to capitalize on it. Rexu does go down. I know Fishyman died right at the beginning there. The health is so close, and there we go. Eventually, people falling. Fluffy taking out Philic. Blur taking out 2 of their own. Deadshot's whole hog laying waste to the tank and the Kiriko. That's well played. This is putting you in a good spot. But can your team make it back in time? Both of your supports are dead. This is not where you want to be. You've got their ults. They need to get back stat. Yes, Team Tree, can you make it? Can you touch the payload in time? There's a hog standing on top of a limousine. That's not a sentence I ever thought I would say in my life. Deadshot is taken out. Oh my goodness, it came down to the wire, but Team Tree stopped them on the finish line. You're parked illegally. Well done, Team Tree, for stopping them at the final minutes. And oh, who is surprised? Blur, play of the game. Let's see one very, very aggressive monkey.
I mean, look at this man. Like, they even had they had the lamp up, the lamp got taken down, and he just, you know, he just went to town. He was just, that Primal Rage just got a lot of value there. Yeah, that was just really unfortunate. I was just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for Dakuma to just release that ult, because I mean, 3 of his teammates had 70% to their ult. You get that little extra attack speed in, and you're fine. And then, you know, you get the damage in, like, it's all sorted, but he just held on to it for so long. And because, you know, Rexu was being picked in the fight, because him and Talos were having a fantastic, you know, what a 1v1. Like, Rexu was being picked, and then I mean, I know as a support player, I will go, okay, there's a pick. I'm not going to use my ult because, you know, it's not going to get as much value. But you're still going to get the value from the Kiriko ult. It's just put all the extra little things that it gives you, especially when you have a hog. You're playing hog to be in that front line, to get that damage out, you know, to attack. So, you know, when you are taking that away, unfortunately, you know, Team Tree played that better. So I want to see the proactive ults from the supports. I mean, I think I sound like a broken record now, because I think I've said that like 4 or 5 times, but it wins the game. So I hope that they're going to be able to do that. Our next map is Circuit Royale, so we'll see what they can pull out. I don't know how much everybody knows about Circuit Royale, but it is a very, very sniper heavy map. It has a lot of long sight lines, fantastic for Hanzo, fantastic for Widow. We see a lot of Sigma being played here. We've seen Blur being played here. Yes, Blur has been played here. I don't talk about it. Blur plays Sigma. And then he's just able to take up that space. So I want to see if they're going to do the mirror map matchups and see if they get Hanzo out, Rexu on the Hanzo or the Widow, and see how the teams take that. Yeah, so that is my prediction for this. I don't know what Deadshot is going to play. I'm not so familiar with Deadshot's hero pool on in tanks, but we have seen a lot of Diva, which could work really well against the snipers to kind of absorb those shots. But yeah.
Let's see what they bring to the table. And look, sniping and long-range engagements seems to have been at least a major flavor in these past few matchups, or past few matches rather. And I'm ready for the circuit. Let's see what they can bring to the table. Is it going to be Rexu on the Hanzo like we initially thought? But after seeing pop-up on Widowmaker, I'm ready for more of that too. And I'm sure it's going to be just as close as the previous 3 games. If I can also just talk to our voice of God and say that the darkness is set to claim me in about 15 minutes. But hey, let's see what happens, shall we, Kay? I definitely don't want to abandon you, but I may not have a choice.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, yeah, so... yeah, we'll roll with it. We'll
Okay.
work with whatever.
Could one of you win the game really quickly, please? Thanks!
Oh no,
Alright,
but we
Toasties
want
team
more
three, let's go.
Overwatch. We want more Overwatch. So
We
you
do,
know,
we do.
conflicting information here. Okay, so I mean, we see Blur. I don't know if is Blur. Yeah, Blur's gonna be sticking on the monkey because they are on defense here. We actually see a quite aggressive lineup. We see that with the Reaper. I mean, we have seen the teams doing really well on the Reaper, especially being able to jump in with the monkey. We are seeing people. They're above their spawn.
Assassin's Creed.
I don't know what exactly. Oh, there are 4 people touching spawn doors. So I guess we'll see what happens here. But this is a new level
They must
of
know
aggression.
that they're there, surely.
A new level.
There we go.
Oh my goodness.
Well, Blur, you just keep living up to your aggressive reputation as immediately the Kiriko goes down from Rexu, but Talos and Fishimang making sure that there are some refrags, but Team Tree again taking 2 of their own, and immediately a massive scrappy fight right on the spawn doors, which is very par for the course at this point. Blur, maybe time to retreat. Yes, there we go. Let's go wait for your healers to get back and patch you back up. You're gonna have to do that in spawn. That was a massive scrap immediately, but here comes the Reaper to see what damage he can do. A lot to himself, apparently.
Yeah, and he's sent right back. I mean, we've all kind of experienced the Junkertown, spawn camp, and this is just another one. Now we know that there's a spawn camp possible on this side, but I mean we're looking. Oh, that's unfortunate. Shame.
My goodness.
Yeah, Rexu. I mean, Rexu's Widow. You don't want to pick the sidelines that he's going to be peeking because he will take your head off.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Rexu now has this the reputation of if you're not respecting his entire sight line, then you are going to pay the price. He's got enough aggression. And speaking of aggression, Talos with the Death Blossom, he makes sure that 2 go down along with the Ana taking out another. Talos eventually does get his head removed by Rexu, but Blur makes sure that Rexu is no longer for this world.
Oh, I really like that from Talos. I mean, we do see that he actually went in with the Reaper ult to get the switch back onto Hanzo, because he's actually respecting Rexu's sidelines, and he's like, cool, I can take this 1v1. Let's go. Let's take the sniper duel. So yeah, we'll see what happens there, but that was a lovely team fight, and now we're just looking for Blur to see what he can do with his ult and see if this bomb gets anything. Unfortunately, it does not.
No bomb, sadly, and oh my goodness, Baby Diva waited a little too long to try and call in that mech, so that's the tank out for this fight. Now comes the Primal Rage, and I'm pretty sure Blur's going to be able to put this to pretty good use. There's a lot of jumping around. Rexu somehow still alive. Oh my goodness, I eat my words. Even being chased by a monkey, he takes out 2 people, you mad lad. And then eventually, Team Tree being able to refrag on Rexu and Dakuma. That was pretty wild, but hey, we've got an Ashe and a Mercy ult ready to rock and roll. Bob, I'm sure you are going to do something. Here it comes. Let's see what you can make of this. Burnt Toasties, you've got both of your support ults up and ready as you take out one of their supports. Bob, putting in the work. You really are doing something as Blur retreats to wait for their team. Out goes the Dynamite yet again. Fluffy very aggressive on this Ashe, and I'm loving seeing it as Team Burnt Toasties rather back in control of the payload.
Yeah, so Blur just needs to kind of stabilize here. We don't want him to get picked off now because and he's right back in. I just eat my words. I just eat my words.
My word.
Oh, but unfortunately, I mean, he went down. He maybe, suffer a little bit there, but he does eventually go down, and we can see that the Burnt Toasties has now won that fight. And they're going to the spawn doors. Well, they're like, cool, we can do the same. We can do the same thing.
Exactly. Two can play at this game is what they are saying, and Team Tree are now holding on to 2 support ults. I really hope, Kay, that we do not see a repeat of last match with holding on to this Kitsune Rush. It's so useful, it's so powerful, and yes, we've got Talos on the Hanzo, we've got Fishimang on the Sojourn. Rexu is dead, although he is holding on to a ult of his own. Dakuma with their own Kitsune Rush. And out comes the Sojourn ult, Railgun, let's go, Pew Pew, let's see what happens. And Pew Pew does happen.
Wow.
2 taken down by Fishimang. Blur, making sure Fluffy is also put out of this fight. And here comes the ult so that we can see all of the people that are running away from Team Toasties as Blur lands on top of Mercy. We love to see it. A very aggressive Blur now face to face with the tanks. And that Ashe, I would run away too. I very much would run away too. That's a Primal Rage ready to rock and roll. Is Talos going to commit his ult here too? As Primal Rage goes out, and bye, Fluffy! You are sent back to the back rooms, and the Kitsune Rush does come out finally. Not sure if that was maybe the best opportunity, as Ana goes down, but Blur takes out the Mercy for himself. Hanzo holding on to his dragons. Let's see what he can make happen. Is nothing at the moment. Rexu gets...
They traded.
They trade.
Oh.
2 absolute prodigies of the scope, and it's a blessing to see them fight each other, to be honest.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Blur's chilling on the low HP. I'm trying to just beware of my words in case this man just like jumps in again. But yeah, that was a really, really nice pick. I'm wondering if we're going to see Bob coming out this fight. I really liked how early it was in the previous fight where they used Bob because it got a lot of value. But at this point, they don't need it. They've got Kiriko ult, they've got a sniper, they have a random dragons flying across the screen.
Hey, some people are scared of dragons, so maybe that was their goal there. But the Kitsune Rush putting to decent use, I'd say, and without having to wait for a reset, there's a Mercy res coming in, and still now 3. I was saying 3. You didn't have to make me correct myself that fast, Burnt Toasties. 2 ultimates here. Bob goes out in a bit of an interesting use, maybe just a delay, but the what's the word? Payload is now nearing its next checkpoint, as Burnt Toasties still seem to be firmly in control of this area. 2 down on Team Tree, another 1 down for Team Tree. Burnt Toasties are sitting on top of their little car, and I'm very impressed with how they've been managing their plays here.
Blow comes in. I think it's honestly it's just clean up at this point. I mean, everybody is critical. Oh, and he got nano. So I mean, we can see they could possibly turn this fight around. They have not capped yet, and they do have close spawns, and that Mercy is 1.
Very aggressive Blur. Let's see what we can do. Talos does take out Rexu, so they're out of the fight. Deadshot, making sure Fishimang is dead. Talos is also taken out by Fluffy, but Blur is all over this point. He seems to just be holding them all back. He's got an ult. Are we going to see a use from this? Out goes the Primal Rage, pushing everybody back up the point. It's overtime. Can the knockback be enough? Blur takes out Phoenix eventually, but that ult is wearing off. Not before Fluffy gets taken down, and that arc gun is chipping away at their health. Fishimang takes out Dakuma. Fishimang takes out Rexu as well. It's not over yet, folks. Blur takes them out. The overtime's ticking down. It's a team kill from Team Tree. What a response. Absolutely incredible. I have no oxygen left. Oh my goodness.
At that point, I was like, no, Burnt Toasties have got this. Like, there's just a Blur on point. Blur is half HP. Like, yes, okay, cool, you guys are kind of low. But if you shoot at the monkey is going to die. And Blur was like, no, this is my home now. I will protect it with my life. And protect he did. Like, holy moly. I cannot believe that they played that incredibly well. Blur was able to just get that Primal Rage up, stay on point, but knock people off point at the same time. He got that Mercy, which we know is their main heals, on Phoenix. So unfortunately, they just didn't have that mass heal that they're able to do with the single target. And you know, the team tree, just the way that they regrouped, were able to come in, get the picks that they needed to. It just seemed like Burnt Toasties at that point were scrambling a little bit, and understandably so. You've got this monkey on your point, you're trying to just cap, it's like so close, it's like time is ticking down, and it just looked like they went into panic mode, unfortunately. And so that was a phenomenal fight, and I would honestly I would give that up to Blow on that monkey.
Absolutely agree with you. Phenomenal indeed from Blur. Not only just the fabled aggression, but the ability to use that ult and use the parts of the ult, specifically the knockback, so well. Staying alive, yes, but keeping them off the point to eventually have overtime tick down. Very well played, and I don't think that's going to be slowing down anytime soon as the next round starts and Team Tree are attacking.
I really like this this tank lineup. I think that these tanks can bounce quite well off each other. Obviously having the Diva with the Matrix and having the defensive capabilities, but unfortunately, Blur's not monkey, but he charges ahead anyway. He just charges ahead.
I don't think Blur fully understands that he's not actually playing a DPS hero. It's just insane. The Rexu finally getting taken out after being chased down like that. And again, Team Tree now pushing everybody back, which is great, being on the attacking side. Wow, okay, you Blur, you're allowed to turn around. This is ridiculous. Blur tickling Takuma, forcing the Mercy res, which is interesting. I think just they want both tanks, both healers alive to keep their tank alive. Blur, this is insane. Like, I feel at this point it's just bullying. Am I witnessing a war crime? What is happening?
Oh my goodness, like I don't even... Blur has no fear. Oh, and we see, unfortunately, Fluffy goes down to minor, which is a big pick because that is a lot of their damage. Even though, you know... Oh, there's this ult. Yeah, cool. Blur, you pop off, queen. Pop off.
The absolute aggression from this woman is phenomenal. Teller takes out Deadshot. Blur takes out Takuma. That is a very solidly won team fight.
Yeah.
And the payload already reaching its first checkpoint. Incredible work from this team. And they're not slowing down.
They are not slowing down. They have 5 minutes. They have 5 minutes.
And Talos and Rexu back in the Widowmaker 1v1s. We love to see that. Blur right at the front lines. And I think... What do you think we're going to have to do here? Burnt Toasties, in terms of their ult economy, they're busy charging back up, but is it going to be fast enough, Kay?
I hope so. I really wanted to see Deadshot be able to use an aggressive bomb, and we see it there. Oh, it didn't go as far as he expected it, and Blur was actually able to block that.
Beautiful block.
I think that Burnt Toasties is going to need to invest basically all their ults to try and win this, because they have 4 minutes that they need to stall this out on. We see Kiriko ult going, you know, both ways here. So we'll see who can actually, you know, take this team fight win.
Very much a frantic fight, and I see the Rexu being very aggressive with the picks and chasing everybody down. Fluffy did the same there. 3 down on the side of Team Tree's. Blur, I think your reign has finally come to an end. My goodness, that's going to be finally a reset from Team Trees. You did very well. Okay, also let's maybe stop challenging the Widowmaker. That's scary stuff, guys. Very scary stuff. You know what else is scary though? Is both Rexu and Fluffy have their ults. That's 2 good DPS ults ready to work. Rexu, you aggressive son of a gun. Get out of there. Yeah, there we go. Recall.
I think they do need to get picks from this. They need to throw out Bob early because, as we say, they still have a 3.5 minute time bank. Oh, and that's Bob out the fight. And that is the Mercy. That is a huge loss for them. Even though they got the pick onto the Widow, I think that this is going to be a scramble.
A scramble indeed, as Diva gets launched from her mech and Baby Diva goes down as well. My goodness, it's Team Tree taking control of this area once again. Blur taking out Takuma, that's a healer down. They do it. This word scramble, okay? You used it yourself. The word scramble does feel like it's coming into effect. Here comes Bob, yeeting his way past, and he's just tanking it. Oh, Bob. You poor individual.
Poor
My goodness. And here comes the gravity squeeze. Up you go, down you come. How does gravity taste? My goodness, they're on critical health, and Blur's just there to clean up. That's, oh my word. All 5.
I mean,
team kill, Team Tree, team kill, and
a
very interesting use of wow.
Just wow.
I was gonna say very interesting, but then I realized how close they were, and Burnt Toasties, they take the win. Holy cow!
Isn't it Team Tree?
Oh, I'm so lightheaded. What did I say?
Burnt toasties.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I blame the lack of oxygen. You say nothing. You say nothing, Kay.
So Team Tree basically take the win over Burnt Toasties. It's a
Holy
3-1.
cow.
It was an incredibly close game. Well played to both teams. They played phenomenally. Wow, that last point was just so unfortunate. I think that they would have been able to hold if Fluffy had not been picked off. That Bob was they needed that Bob to contest the point, especially with the fact that Blur is just walking into your face with a shield, and we also saw that he was able to block the bomb, and Phoenix went down, and Phoenix also did have ult. So I mean, you know, it was just one unfortunate situation after the other, and at that point they just had more people on the actual, you know, the little Ferrari that moves. I don't know if that's the right car. Don't come for me, I'm sorry.
The little Ferrari that moves is now the official word for that payload.
But yeah, that was just, yeah, it was just a bunch of, you know, mishaps and, you know, maybe even mispositionings that happen when you know that they are going to be looking at that high ground, and they're going to try and get you through headshots. And yeah, so very, very well played to both teams. It was a very close match. I can't say, oh my goodness, Team Tree just absolutely rolled, because that's not the case. It was very well played by both teams. Burnt Toasties, I think, just could have been a bit more aggressive with their ults. I think it would have won them a few more fights and kind of kept them into, you know, kept them in the game. But very, very well played to Team Tree.
Very well played across the board, I have to say. It's the back and forth, and that's the kind of good Overwatch that we come to know and expect from players of this category, from players of this level, and from the Kiriko Cup in general. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to watch these two hash it out, and again, that's not the end. There's plenty more to come. It's the end for me because my power's about to go out for sure. But, you know, it's been a pleasure and a privilege to be here. I'm more than enjoying this this cup. It's been an absolute pleasure, and seeing, yes, where there may be mishaps, it's seeing the enemy team or the opposing team capitalize on that. And so for a player like Blur, seeing, okay, this positioning isn't quite right, or, you know, I'm in the right position to stop this Diva ult, phenomenal. And at the end of the day, it's those little things. Yes, the big plays make big differences, but it's also that consistency from a team that is what's going to bring them all the way to the finish line, like it has now for this incredible group of players.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you covered it all. I don't really know what else to say, and I'm really worried. I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh, my co-cast is about to leave me.
It's fine. Look, I stuck around long enough. Let's just, right? I was here for you, Kay. I was here for you. And hey, if you want to be here for Kay or myself, you look at the socials down below. Please go check her out. It would be fantastic. That's not the right way. That's the right way. Look at that. It's almost like I stream. Please go check out my wonderful co-caster, guys. If you're not following all that is to do with competitive Overwatch League, you can go and check out their Discord. They're also streaming not only on Twitch, but on YouTube as well. Go check out all the socials. There's so much Overwatch content to sink your teeth into. Yes. And hey, maybe next time we'll be seeing you in one of these community cups. But for now, that's all from us on the caster's desk. Kay, thank you for joining me. Thank you all in chat for joining me. And until next time, have a great time.